Hi, everybody. It's episode 601 of PodQuest.
Hey.
It's Wednesday, February 18th, 2026. I am Chris, with me is Drootin
Hello.
and Walnut.
Yeah, I'm here.
We're back. It's another week. It's another episode.
Yeah,
There are
I'm
things.
I'm sick. It
You don't,
sucks.
you don't got the bird flu, do you?
No. Apparently there's something going around because when I talked to another friend of my symptoms, they're like, those are the exact symptoms I had. And one of them was a very weird and specific symptom, and it was my burps tasted like rotten eggs.
What?
Yeah, no, anytime I burped and I was very gassy and burping, it tasted like sulfur or rotten eggs. It was a very specific symptom, but they were like, yeah, I had the same thing. But it was stomach stuff and gross burps and just became a scratchy throat. And it started last Monday and then went away and then came back with a vengeance.
I don't like it.
No. I should be fine by the weekend though. I haven't gone to the doctor or anything, but I'm starting to feel better.
Oh, that's good. At least you're feeling better.
My stomach's not bothering me anymore. My throat's not really hurting. It's just now that post nasally just sick feeling and the gross taste that you get from having post nasal drip. Stuff like that.
I know somebody who's got they have the flu, and so they've had a 100+ degree fever for the last 4 days.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, the flu is bad this year. It is rough. Thanks, Obama.
I blame you. Just like it's your fault, YouTube. You brought back the flu.
What? I didn't bring back. I get my flu shot every year.
That's the problem.
I didn't bring the flu. I get the flu shot every year. Ever since I gave an entire family the flu, including at the time, what was he, 10, 11? A 10, 11-year-old kid. I was like, yeah, I ain't messing with this anymore, and got the flu shot every year ever since.
So what I'm hearing is it's your fault.
No, it's not my fault because I get the flu shot. It's the government's fault well, it's the scientists' fault for missing the ball with which flu shot to distribute this year.
You should have been checking their work.
I'm not a scientist.
What's on the agenda?
I don't know, man. There's a lot of stuff on the agenda. Drew, you're going to talk about Diablo 2's Warlock class, not Diablo 4's? You're going to only talk about Diablo 2's?
It's not out in 4 yet.
Oh, really? And then I finished Forever Sky, which was my current Let's Play series. The last episode is actually airing this coming Friday. I'm not going to really spoilerize it, but I'm going to talk about the game itself. And then maybe we can talk about the ideas I have for the next Let's Play. Cobb, you finished Dispatch and started playing Silent Hill F. I have been watching Bleach, and also, we didn't talk about either of them, but 2 weeks ago there was a Nintendo Direct, and last week there was a PlayStation State of Play.
I didn't watch.
So if there's any, you didn't watch either of them. Well, they announced a new Silent Hill game, darn it.
Did they?
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called. We can get to it when we get to your stuff. But it was a decent. The State of Play was good. The Nintendo one was stupid. It didn't really have anything.
It was a partner direct. I kind of gave up on those having anything worthwhile.
It was a partner direct. It had one true exclusive title for the Switch 2.
For at least a short time before it's available elsewhere.
Who knows? If they said exclusive, if the game's not out yet, the game looks great. I can't remember what it's called. I'll have to look it up in a second. I think I actually shared it on a Discord, so I'll have to see if I can still find it. But yeah, it had one actually exclusive game. It's called Orbitals. That's what it's called. And then the rest of them were all games that have been released on other consoles or will be released globally, I guess, across all consoles. And then a bunch of stuff about Fallout and Bethesda games coming to the Switch 2, which is who gives a shit? Those games have already been released a million times.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and the Nintendo one was dumb. The State of Play one was good, though. I liked the State of Play.
I did start the State of Play one, but then I had stuff come up and didn't finish it, and never got a chance to like go back to it. I'm quickly scrolling through like a list. Like, yeah, there's a couple cool things on here, but nothing crazy. Like nothing that makes me go, oh, I need that. Also, I don't see any Silent Hill game listed on here.
It's on there. Let me remember what it's called. Let me find it, basically.
Yeah, like I'm on the IGN, here's everything.
It was midway to near the end, and it was Silent Hill Townfall.
Yeah, I wonder why this isn't on.
And they used
the IGN.
They used in the Townfall. They used the same F as they did in Silent Hill F in the font.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's not in that IGN article.
yeah, it's not there at all.
That's weird. They also announced
everything announced
a new Star Wars racer, which I'm excited for. That's gonna have pod racing in it. Yeah. We saw a bunch of some stuff we've already seen in the past, like Soros.
It's a fucking new 2D Castlevania.
Yeah, there's a new 2D Castlevania. They're releasing this 2D prequel for God of War. It's already out. That came out after it. Kana's getting a sequel. Kana Scars of Cosmora is what it's called.
That's one of the things I did see, like when I had the thing on, and like it looked fine.
Yeah.
Like I really like the first one of those, and if it's more of that, like that's awesome. Like it was like a playable Pixar game.
Yeah.
Or a playable Pixar movie, I guess I should say.
I want to play the first one because that one looks good. Control Resonant is a sequel to Control. We are at Castlevania. Drew, you might be interested in Brigadine Abyss. It's a tactical RPG.
The John Wick game.
It's fine. It gives me like Sifu vibe. Like it's some of the gameplay that was there. Like it looks pretty good, and it looks like it's not just going to be all gunplay. But at the same time, I didn't need a John Wick game. I don't know who was asking for a John Wick game.
That's right. And there's also this Beast of Reincarnation from Game Freak.
Beast of Reincarnation.
Huh.
Where was that one? What was that one?
It's like a full like JRPG looking thing.
You know, somehow missed that. I think I was in that IGN article when I was going through the trailers because I did a video on it on my YouTube about it. And I missed that, and that one actually looked pretty good as well. I do remember that one. For Loop actually looks interesting. It's a third-person shooter roguelite co-op game, and let's see, what was it? There was we're getting a Marathon, which was the game that Bungie made before Halo.
Yeah, no, that was announced years ago.
Well, it's like we actually got gameplay trailer for it. Like it's actually.
Yeah, I think they actually gave it like a real release date finally.
Yeah, it's in like 2 weeks, March 5th. And it looks interesting. The art style for it and stuff looks pretty cool. Which is I'm interested in that. And
then, it already had a release date. They just like confirmed it's definitely releasing that day.
Yeah. And then the thing that I am most excited for, it looks like KFC and Koei Tecmo decided to make a game with Project Windless. It's like you're an anthropomorphized chicken, and it's like a Musou game. Like it looks ridiculous.
Oh, here it is. I couldn't find it at first.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the PUBG publisher.
Yeah, I didn't know it was inspired by a Korean novel series, The Bird That Drinks Tears. I'm on the PlayStation's blog for it. It was a lot of decent looking stuff.
It's a Ubisoft game.
This.
Far Cry director, lots of towers to climb.
Probably, we'll see.
I mean, you figure
I'll have to see more into it.
Former Ubisoft's former Far Cry director is the person behind it. There are going to be so many towers.
Far Cry didn't have towers.
They had something to unlock the map.
I mean, it was just. I don't think it was. It wasn't tower climbing.
It might not. You might be right, but there were definitely things you had to go do to open the map up.
Yeah, but I mean that might have been just by direction of Ubisoft themselves and not what they wanted to do. So since they weren't directed by Ubisoft to do it, then maybe they should be good.
No.
Maybe there shouldn't be towers.
Because they didn't get to do towers in Far Cry, they're upset. This game is nothing but towers.
Maybe. But I mean the event, the state of play was about an hour long. It was all trailers. A lot of it looked good. A lot of it looked interesting to me. I was pretty stoked about a lot of it. We're getting God of War trilogy remaster or remake. So the Greek trilogy is coming out again.
Yeah, I saw some people online talk about should they remove some of the content from those, like the sexual stuff. And it's what's it matter? It existed 20 years ago. It still exists in those versions of the game. Just fucking release them this way. Just people are gonna bitch either way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'd suggest people go check it out, or at least don't go to IGN apparently, but go to the PlayStation.com blog for it, and that should have
weird that
all
the Silent Hill game just isn't on there at all.
Yeah, that's weird.
All the other ones seem to be. Anyway, Drew.
Yeah.
How's the Warlock?
It's fucking weird playing Diablo 2 and going, what the fuck am I doing with this character? What do I gotta do? What skills should I be picking?
So I have to tell you, I had to do a double, I had to double check. I'm Warlock wasn't in Diablo 2, and I'm oh shit, no, it really wasn't.
No.
Yep. The original launch is Amazon, Paladin, Barbarian, Sorceress, and Necromancer. And the expansion was Assassin and Druid. And that's been it. It's been those 7 characters since 2001.
Yeah, well, that's because they released Diablo 3 10 years later.
Yeah.
And they weren't releasing...
And then Diablo 4, 10 years after that.
Yeah, and they weren't releasing, but yeah, this is for the Diablo 2 remaster, remake. Resurrected, not the original Diablo 2. That is, we did talk about that last. They're not really, it is, but isn't a character for a 20-year-old game. Kind of deal. But yeah, it's cool. And so how's it work?
So they have their 3 skill trees there's the spellcaster tree, which has a fire branch you can go down, or it's called miasma damage. It's magic poison damage, so damage over time. With also doing all the skills will do a burst of damage and then a bunch of damage over time. Then you have your melee / throwing weapon tree is their second tab, and then their third tab is summons, and they summon demons, which Necromancer had undead summons and Druid had animal summons, so a little different. They also have an ability where they can basically Pokemon any demons out there, or at least one at a time, basically. So while you're fighting a big demon, you can go, no, you're on my team now. If you go down that branch anyway. I've been I mainly focused on the fire skills at first, which actually 2 of them, one of them basically was a skill in Diablo 1, Flame Wave, which is very powerful. The first fire skill is a little Fire Nova, so it'll do fire damage in every direction, but it doesn't go the full stretch of the screen. It goes probably 4 or 5 spaces from your character away and does some knockback. And then the ultimate fire skill creates a giant pentagram on the ground Like it takes a second or two to draw it, and then it explodes for a shitload of fire damage. And also does lower their enemy fire resistance, which means you can damage fire immune enemies with it, which is cool.
Okay.
So they're not fucked like if you were a fire sorceress.
Mm-hmm.
But I've switched over to doing to full on the miasma tree, which the level 30 skill in that is called Abyss, and it just opens up a little portal in the ground. It'll suck enemies into it and do a bunch of damage over time. It does a big enough range to kill a good group of enemies at a time. And I have the very first demon summon, which is a goat man, just so I can have one little extra cannon fodder thing to keep things away from me while I'm casting the spells. I started a second one that I only have up to like level 8. My main one's at 64 or something. The other one I want to go down the melee tree and see those abilities, because I do. Almost everyone's playing warlocks in the game. Like,
Of course.
if you're looking in the lobbies and you're looking at it'll show the players that are in a game, and you'll see here's 6 people. They're all warlocks. Just everyone's warlocks. Because why wouldn't you? But you can just port over all your old characters to the Reign of the Warlock update, so you can get all your gear up there. Which there are new rune words. There's new items. Warlock has all their the weapon they use are daggers mainly. So now daggers, which sometimes used to in the past drop with necromancer skills on them, and then also occasionally barbarian skills, because barbarians can use every weapon. Daggers will now drop with +2 or warlock skills on them. Warlocks also have a new second offhand item, a shield. Their spell books, and those will boost some damage, give you some armor, give you some plus to skills, things like that. And then there's new rune words that I just spent the last like hour getting all my characters moved up to the new expansion, so I could put all the shit into the new stash tabs that they added for the gems and runes and all that, to clear up all my old character stashes. So that also is helpful. Plus, I had shitloads of gear on some of those characters, because some of those were like level 90.
Nice.
So I was able to give my Warlock. I guess I could go give him an SOJ if I wanted, but I would have to take that off a different character. Gave him a good helmet, good armor, stuff like that. So.
Oh my god, the Stone of Jordan!
Hell yeah!
I forgot about that thing. Jesus, that was what does it do again? It's such a.
It's +1 skills. I think gives you faster cast rate, which are like, hey, your things do more damage and you cast them faster. That's like the 2 most important things you can do.
Yeah, I'm interested. I'm interested to see how this thing plays in Diablo 4, because, like, I've been open with the fact that I am not the biggest Diablo 2 fan. We played that game so much as a kid, I just got bored with it. But it's just like, it's health and mana, and then like Diablo 3 pulled me in a little bit, because like each character had a different type of energy pool, and they produce that energy differently, and so like each character did end up feeling like they played different enough to where it wasn't boring to me. Whereas in Diablo 2, since it's just health and mana, it's all kind of point and click in the same kind of feeling to me. So I'm very interested to see how he plays in Diablo 4, because I'm assuming Diablo 4 went along with that similar playstyle as Diablo 3 did, with each character having its different mana pool style.
Yeah.
I'm interested to hear how that works. It's very cool that they added this to Diablo 2. It's a strange, like, why did they do it is my first question. I guess just as a little promotional thing.
I guess,
like, it really, like, I don't know. It was just it's a not trying to talk bad about the decision to do this, but it really makes no sense as to why they did it. But it's really cool that they did.
I mean, listen, I agree.
And I when you said that it has a melee tree, I am interested to see how like a melee tree, a melee build would work for a character known as a warlock that would primarily be a caster, or you would think is a caster.
Yeah, so for the one in Diablo 2, like you have your skills that do things like cleave, so it does a arcing damage and will hit a whole bunch of enemies in front of you. And there's one that is throw the weapon and then it boomerangs back to you, so it'll do damage both directions. I don't know what the rest of the tree does. It looks like there's one that creates kind of like a wave of the weapons going out, which looked cool. And then you also have hexes that you add to the weapons. The first one uh, increases the amount of damage your attacks do, and then also lowers the enemy's defense while they're hit after they're hit by it. The second one, again, on top of adding damage to your attack, then makes them explode if they're still hexed when they die.
Jeez.
And then the last one, I think, gave you life and mana when on kill. But I don't remember because by the time I got to level 30, I was like, I want to do the Abyss spell. So I went back to. I intentionally left the reset stats and skill points from normal difficulty to be able to go, okay, I've hit level 30. This seems like what I want to do. Let me go reset all my skills and go over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it seems cool. Like I said, now that I have all the other gear I can move over, I'm gonna start playing that other Warlock to try that melee tier more. So
Yeah.
Is it pretty weird going and playing through a game that you know so well, so different?
Yes, it was very weird. Like literally having to actually consider, like look at the skills and be like, okay, what does this do? And then go like, be like, fuck it. I guess I'll put a point in this and actually just try out a skill because guides weren't out yet at all. I'm sure people have put up like guides and builds or whatever to do. But not that I like ever really look at builds for shit in Diablo 2. Like I either know the build anyway, like they're obvious with the way they put synergies in way back when. It's like, oh
So
yeah, you should add points into all these skills. Or it was like, fuck it, this skill sounds more fun than using the other shit.
a little BTS for the listeners. Drew has been such a hardcore Diablo 2 fan that back in high school when like Rock Band came out, what's that, 2008, 9, 10, something like that. We would go over his house to play, and on his wall of his bedroom, he would have post-it notes
Oh
stuck
yeah.
to each other on the wall of different builds he was putting together for Diablo 2 characters.
I own a 1.0 copy of Diablo 2.
Yeah, like this is his game. This like if his favorite game wasn't Final Fantasy Tactics, it would be this.
Yeah, Diablo 2 is number 2 for sure.
Like it's like he is, as far as I know, probably the foremost leading expert of Diablo 2.
I wouldn't go that far. But of the people yes.
Yeah. You could just straight up be a Diablo 2 streamer, man. People would love that shit.
I could.
Your knowledge on Diablo 2, people would eat that up. And just
Like,
Diablo in
probably
general.
true.
I think Diablo in general is just a very popular stream category.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
so
because
like
Diablo has that thing of like you can be playing it, and especially Diablo 2, you're playing it, and it's like you're just you're doing the runs to get the drop, and then you get that hype when you actually finally get the fucking drop you're trying to get. So,
or that's how it feels when playing any game with hard bosses. You're doing those runs and losing against those bosses, and then you finally beat that boss, and you get emotional because it's taken over 20 hours of your life. Fucking Simon from Expedition 33. And then you
That
cry.
was your decision.
Look, and just as much as it is Drew's decision to grind for those Stones of Jordans every day.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's wild. I'm glad like is this would this character be a meta character in Diablo, or is this just another thing to use when you're trying to have fun?
I don't know. It seems pretty good. I feel like, I mean, I think the two super meta characters in Diablo 2 probably will always wind up being the sorceress and the paladin, mainly because they're the two. I mean, sorceress just gets teleport, and I think the rune word that can give you teleport is only on a thing paladins can use.
Hmm.
So they're like the uber meta because they're super strong and super fast. So, but like I said, with seeing a lot of people using warlocks and seeing people use, I've seen people using basically all four skill trees: the melee, the abyss, the apocalypse. Is it called apocalypse? Whatever the fucking pentagram skill is, and then just going full on summons.
Hmm.
It seems like they really thought about giving the character a lot of options, whereas like paladin kind of really has one meta option, which sucks, but it's super powerful, so people use it. It's the
Yeah.
fucking hammers. But yeah, I don't know. It's cool. I wish it wasn't fucking $25. Fuck you, Blizzard, on that bit.
What the Warlock
Yeah.
in Diablo 2 was just the
Just
Warlock
that one
was
character.
Yeah, I mean, I forget technically what other there was like quality of life shit they added in with it that is,
that's see the
but
thing is though
it's kind of bullshit.
the quality of life stuff has to go to everyone. It doesn't have to go to just the people who download it because everyone's playing it together.
Well, so the reign of the version of the game that the Warlock is in is essentially it's essentially like it's another expansion
Oh my
because like
god.
while you could play one of the base 5 classes in the expansion content originally, like you can't play you could never play a assassin that beats the game at Act 4.
Hmm.
And then I forget what little shit there is. I mean, I know there's rune words that were expansion exclusive. This there also has exclusive rune words. Um, there are no new runes, just new rune words. Um, but yeah, it's done. I think it should have been like 10 or 15.
10,
25 was like,
10,
fuck you, god
Yeah,
damn it.
25 seems like a lot.
$10 at
It's
most. ten
yeah.
dollars at most, but honestly $5 because they're also going to be making the money with the Warlock release for Diablo 4.
Hmm. Or like it should have been a thing where it's like, hey, did you pre-order the Diablo 4 or did you get the Diablo 4 expansion? Look, here, you get this too.
Yeah, and like make all the rest of the updates available for everyone, but
Yeah.
only and lock the character behind either pre-ordering it or just paying $5 or $2 or whatever. Like that's bullshit. Like that is ridiculous. $25 for that, and at this point you're dividing the community between people who have the Warlock and people who don't, and forcing the people who don't want the Warlock to buy the Warlock so they can continue to play with everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you don't have to convert your old characters up. So I'm sure a lot of people still have their old characters and whatnot. And I'm imagining there are plenty of game lobbies going, not in the Reign of the
Well,
Warlock expansion. But yes, I feel like a lot of people, if you're still playing it, or you were like me, I haven't touched D2R in forever. Oh, this thing? Uh, like I gave it pause on whether or not I wanted to actually
it's
fucking pay 25 goddamn dollars for it, but I was like, fine.
it's like this is one reason why like I love how Monster Hunter does its releases because all monster content, all armor content, and shit like that is free is free. All updates are free, and then you get the expansion, which you have to pay for. And then all updates on the expansion are free. This is really an update more so than an expansion because it doesn't add more game content. It just adds a new character to play. It doesn't add more story. It doesn't add more locations to visit. It's just a new character.
Yeah.
So like Monster Hunter, if you buy Monster Hunter Wilds right now, you have everything available to you. The expansion coming out in probably September. Like you'll have to pay for that to get all of that content, but then everything that comes out after that is free to you. You don't have to pay for that, and then you're not being locked out from like if you were to play Monster Hunter right now, you can play it. But if I wanted to play Diablo 2 with you right now, I can't play it with you because I'd then have to buy the Warlock to play it with you, or you'd have to like. I guess there's probably a way for you to make a downgraded character, like a character that's not Warlock expansion capable, and like so then you'd have to.
But I can't make the Warlock that's not in that.
Yeah.
So there's there's that, and
that's really stupid.
It's dumb. It's so dumb.
That's like when you played like World of Warcraft. Like if I didn't have Burning Crusade, I would still see the Draenei or whatever that got introduced and the Blood Elves. Yeah. I just couldn't go to their like I couldn't make their characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And like you could probably go to their areas and stuff, right? You just couldn't. No. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because those areas existed. You just had to be able to get to them.
Yeah, and it's the same like Final Fantasy 14. If you don't get the expansions, you can. But I mean, at this point, all the expansions. If you buy the most recent expansion, you get all the expansions. That's how they're patching Final. I guess that's how they patch all MMOs.
I think WoW is still a little bit of like a. You have to buy like the last like 2 or 3 to get all the content. Like I don't know that you can actually just jump to the most recent.
I think with 14, it's either you have to at least buy the most recent or like the most 2 recent. I'm not sure. I think it's as long as you get the most recent, you have them all. Because like the way WoW does, or not WoW, the way Final Fantasy does their content, it is story based, so it is story driven. And if you skip one DLC to get to the last DLC, you miss a lot of story. So, like, they kind of have to release it with, all right, you buy this, you get it all. But I think the expansions are generally a little bit more expensive than normal expansions because of that, potentially. I don't know. I might be making that up. So, I don't know.
Sounds like you are.
Yeah. It's been 8 years since I played Final Fantasy 14.
But only 4 years since you paid for it.
No, probably only like it's probably 7 years since I paid for it.
But Drew, anything else you want to say about Diablo?
No, that's all.
Right. Well, then, Rich, did you enjoy finishing Forever Skies?
So, Forever Skies, if no one knows what Forever Skies is, it's basically best way to explain it is it's Subnautica but in the air. So your base is your airship that you can craft, and it's you get a balloon, like a blimp, that you put on top of your airship, and you can float around, and you can get from place to place, and you can explore, and it's one of those crafting survival exploration games. It's a neat idea. It was a neat idea, but unfortunately, the world is too big for the type of game they were trying to put together, and the locations to go and visit were not unique enough. So, like, you start off in, like, there's 3 regions that you explore, 4 technically, because you can do the Underdust. The whole premise of the thing is you're on Earth, but you're trying to stay above a layer of dust that is surrounding the surface of Earth, because you'll get sick, and humanity is dying. All of humanity lives on a space station that's orbiting Earth, and there is a disease that they cannot figure out a cure for, so they send you down to Earth to find the cure. You yourself have the end stages of this virus, and that's what they do. They send people who have the end stages of the virus down to try to find it, because they're trying to stop the spread of the virus, but there's no way to stop the spread, and they're trying to get the people who are going to die soon anyway to do this potentially suicide mission anyway. So like there's 4 regions. There's the main area you start, and then there's like a slightly overgrown area, and then a majorly overgrown area. Is really the only 3 that like and then the underdust is below the ground or below the dust level on the surface. And to progress through the game, there's different like POI locations that you can go explore, and on the map there's like several different icons of types of areas that you can explore. However, they're all pretty much rehashes of the same location with a slightly different twist to each one. It's just nothing is unique enough to really pull you in. And the progression of learning to craft things is kind of a pain because you need to explore each of these locations whenever you cross them to find things that you may not have learned to craft that the game doesn't even necessarily tell you, like, oh, you haven't learned this yet, here's where you go find them. So at one point I had, what did I have? Oh, I had learned the large sprinkler system to water my farm. I learned how to do that. But I did not learn at that time the sprinklers. And in order to craft the large sprinkler, you need to craft the sprinkler and then go to the upgrade machine and upgrade the sprinkler into the large sprinkler. You can't just craft the large sprinkler. And so like there was like 1 or 2 sessions of me just like trying to find the sprinkler, not realizing, oh, I have to progress through the game to get to the sprinkler. When you get to the sprinkler and you get to that point, you are literally 2 steps away from the end of the game.
Oh, wow.
You don't need it at that point. You don't need the sprinkler. And then the worst part is when you get that sprinkler, you also have to scan a piping system. And then you have to lay the pipe throughout your ship so that you can set the sprinklers up. It took me like an hour to figure out how the crafting of and placement of the pipes would work to get the sprinkler to work, and eventually I had it all set up. Sprinkler still didn't fucking work. I gave up. And like that's like kind of my feeling towards the game. Is like it's a neat concept, but the crafting, the exploration, there's not much of a reward for the exploration. The crafting is kind of a pain in the ass. There's not much of a reward for that. Like, to expand your airship, there's a weight capacity that you can increase the weight capacity a little bit by having turbines, or you can increase it a lot by upgrading your balloon. And if you want an even bigger balloon, you need to actually expand your airship big enough so that you can place a temporary balloon, so that you can break down your main balloon and then place your new balloon. Because if you try to just remove your main balloon, it'll tell you you're too high of an altitude, even if you're placed on a platform. You're too high of an altitude, you can't remove your balloon. So you need to be able to cover your weight before you can upgrade things. And it's just like some of the building and crafting concepts are just like, they're weak. Story-wise, like, I found out midway through, or I figured out midway through what it was. It's an Ultron deal. There's an AI that like connects to your suit and is trying to save the planet because the AI was created to save the environment, or to save nature, and humans forgot that they were a part of nature, and in doing so and doing what they did, they caused this fog and this dust to develop. And this AI has been able to figure out how to craft the cure. But at the end of the game, you have a decision. Once you finally learn the cure, there's also a optional objective to find a hideout and get a thumb drive. And you can, when you go to the AI at the end of the game, it gives you an option. Either use the cure, because the AI is developing, has baby babies in tubes, like human babies in tubes, and needed to develop the cure so that it could make them be able to live on the new Earth. And so you either use the cure to make it so that the babies can live in the new Earth and kill all the humans up on the airship, or you use the thumb drive and defeat the AI so that you can go back to the spaceship or to the space station and cure the humans on the space station. So either your choices are genocide or destroy an AI. And it was just like, this is kind of a weak story, like, of telling, like, oh, humans are the problem. Like, we all know this. We all know humans are the problem. But it's just like, I don't know, it just really didn't have a lot of impact. I ended up doing both endings. And my video will show both endings. I basically just explained both endings. So if you're watching it, I said I wasn't going to spoil it. I spoiled it. Because, like, you know, it's probably one of my least favorite games I've played on a Let's Play. Not saying that it's necessarily a bad game, it's just, like, very poor presentation across the board. Is really what it was.
It's a bummer.
Yeah, like, and it was a game I was looking forward to because I love the Subnautica games. I think they're really great. It really feeds to the exploration, but like, and each location you go to, each new biome you go to in those games are very different from each other, and like, it pulls you in. This one, like, there's a lot of stuff I didn't even look at because I just really didn't care, and like, it's like, I just had so many crafting supplies at the end of the game, and I didn't really need any of it. And I was like, yeah, it unfortunately didn't click with me. And so I was just like, well, I kind of rushed the last couple of episodes. I ended up also changing completely the way I was editing them from like episode 10 on, because there was just a lot of gathering stuff. And, like, the content itself, there was not a lot of me being able to commentary while live playing. So, like, I would cut out and, like, just do montages of me collecting, and then I would in post talk over and commentary what I was doing. And then when there was commentary live, I would post it. It's just the game didn't really lead to a good Let's Play, in my opinion, or at least the way I do these and my style. I guess it's from the same developers that did Pacific Drive, and that was another one that I had stopped doing a Let's Play for. No, they didn't do Pacific Drive, but they had stuff. For some reason, the car from Pacific Drive was in this game, and I don't know why. Like, there was a little, like, pickup you could get that was the car from Pacific Drive.
Maybe like they're friends with him or something like that, or somebody on the dev team was friends.
Maybe. I mean, I guess I could. Let's see what Google says. What
it's the same reason Chaosu's face shows up in an episode of Naruto, when Naruto was looking at masks.
Are linked through a collaboration where themed items from Pacific Drive, such as posters and artifacts, are added forever skies to decorate the player's airship. Additionally, they are featured together in a Steam bundle. So there's really no. It's just they bundled each other on Steam, and it's just a collab. They had nothing to do with each other. But yeah, like, forever, Pacific Drive ended up being a lot more roguelite than I was expecting. And so that, to me, it didn't really lead to a good YouTube Let's Play. So I ended up stopping that and just playing it on stream, which I think that game is incredible. This one, like, I considered just moving it to stream, but I was like, no, I just want to beat it. I'm kind of done. And yeah, like, the how each location you go to is kind of just the same, but a little bit different. And there's a bunch of things that I didn't even learn to craft. At one point, I was just like, I gotta get there's a bed that you can get to have a pet bug following you around. I could not find that bed to scan to be able to craft, and I guess that's like part of my other problem is like what is required for you to be able to craft it is you need to find it out in the world, scan it, research it, and then craft it. And I couldn't find it. It was just frustrating. It was unfortunate. I was disappointed, unfortunately, for the game.
It's a bummer. That is a bummer.
Yeah. But the Let's Play's over. It was only 14 episodes. I was expecting it to be a little bit longer, but I'm actually happy for that. I have an idea for my next Let's Play. I want to know what you guys think about this. So I have never actually really played Minecraft. And acknowledging how much the developers of Minecraft suck. And just like kind of just writing that off as like there's nothing I can do about that.
Well, I mean, Notch is no longer involved, so now it's all Microsoft. Which
so
sucks.
Yeah, but they don't suck as much as Notch. My idea is, since I've never actually fully officially played Minecraft, what if I do a challenge run of what I'm calling Noobcraft, where I try to play and beat the Ender Dragon, which is the boss of Minecraft, on hardcore mode, which is their permadeath mode. Once I die, I'm done. That's the end of the run. But can a seasoned gamer who's never played this game before get to the final boss of the game without dying?
I say go for it. I'm also putting my money on 3 episodes.
Possible. It's very possible. I think it might be a little bit more than 3. I do know some like ideas of how to play Minecraft. I've played it a little bit.
You've never played it.
I've
you're
not
lying to everybody.
I've never played it seriously. Like the one time I played it was for about 8 hours. I was on a call with a friend. We were in creative mode, and we were just like running around, and they were teaching me a thing or two about the game as we were building houses and stuff. That's it. There was no combat, there was no fighting, there was no survival. It was just creative mode. So like I've seen other people play it. I know a couple of concepts. You do not dig down. That is the first and foremost. You never dig straight down. And then just learning how to craft and where everything is and stuff like that. It's an interesting idea. Like the amount of time I have in Minecraft still considers me a noob.
Okay.
Well, yeah. I'm leaning on that, or I've just been getting into a lot of factory games, so I was going to maybe try to play Satisfactory. And I kind of want to play Alchemy Factory, but that I'd have to buy it, and I don't want to buy anything right now because I'm buying Resident Evil.
Oh, that does come out soon, doesn't it?
Next week, Friday.
I saw a video. Leon finally stopped doing random backflips for no good reason.
Well, he's 50 years
50s,
old,
so
he can't.
I mean, look, at least they're acknowledging that the man is not 20 anymore and can't just backflip away from chainsaws.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anything else about Forever Skies though?
No, that's it. It's unfortunate that it was a disappointment.
Yeah. That's never great. Like when you play a game like that and you're just like, oh, this is not actually what I wanted it to be.
This is not what I thought it was going to be, and that sucks.
Well, on the flip side of that, I finished Dispatch and it was delightful.
Nice.
Yeah. I legitimately can't recommend that game enough if you like the narrative driven games like that. I don't want to spoil anything because Rich, I know you said you do want to get around to it.
I'll be playing it probably in the next 2 months.
Yeah, definitely worth it. Fairly quick, even if you are trying to take your time. I enjoyed it enough that at some point I might go back and redo some of the chapters and see what different choices might lead to. Because apparently once I haven't confirmed this, but once you finish it, I guess you can drop back into any of the dispatches, and basically do that particular episode over.
Yeah.
without having to start the whole game over and play through the whole thing. But the final episode is fucking stressful.
Yeah.
The two dispatch rounds are really hard. And then the last, I don't know, 40 minutes of the game is just like one awesome interactive cutscene, basically. Because it's all like the decision making and quick time stuff for like the end of it, because that's where it becomes like it moves away from like the strategy aspect after your final two dispatches and goes into like the final confrontation with like the big villains, and everything kind of like comes to a head, and all the decisions you had made throughout the game kind of like start having like a real impact. But even before that, there's a few moments in chapter 6, I want to say, that are just like they hit a lot of really good like emotional beats, both like happy emotional stuff and like some stuff and some like sad unexpected moments too. And there's a dog in the game. His name is Beef, and he's wonderful.
Beef.
He's like a little dude. He's like a little like Boston Terrier, French Bulldog looking guy, and everybody loves him. The one character, the character who's like an old man that's he's a young man that's stuck in an old man's body. Like your main guy that you control asks him to watch the dog, and he's just like, I will burn this place down and let all of you burn with it for this dog. I'm like, cool. All right. That's where this game is at. I'm okay with that. But
I am all for dogs being named after food. 100%.
He's a great little dog too. At one point, like there's like one of those like your character's kind of like introspective about some stuff, and the dog comes up with like a ball. And so like you take the dog outside and you throw the ball, and the dog literally just looks at you and then walks in the other direction. After like nudging you and being like a dog about taking them outside to play ball with them. But yeah, like just fantastic story throughout the game. You can tell that there are definitely choices where they make the choices feel like they're more impactful than they are. But like the narrative is still going to kind of like land in the same spot for a lot of things. But there are definitely things throughout this game that do have a real impact on like the story. Even something as simple as like deciding which of your team gets cut has like an impact on the way things go later on, and not changes, and depending on how you kind of handle that, like the aftermath of that impacts both how the rest of the team responds to you during dispatches, which can make the dispatches go fucking awful, and whether or not certain characters end up getting kind of like second chances and redemptions at the end of the game or not. So you can either have like a fairly like solid team, or you can have just a fucking awful time in like the final few dispatches and bits of the game.
Yeah.
Also, I think Erica just took Molly out, and now Benny is like very upset.
Benny.
But yeah, so definitely check out Dispatch. It's, I don't know, it's probably like 8 hours to get through the game. And like there's not really a way to like speed run it necessarily. Like you're not just like racing through it, and you can't really miss anything. Like obviously like the game is just walking you kind of narratively through what's going on. And he is just not going to stop barking until she fucking comes back in. This boy. I don't know if you guys can hear him or not.
Not really.
But yeah, just such a good game. So worth it. Great acting, great like script and everything for it. A lot of the dialogue actually feels not real, because obviously like certain things people would just not say, but like it sounds like these characters are having actual conversations versus somebody just wrote a bunch of words for like the voice actors to say. So yeah, definitely worth checking out Dispatch. And then I started Silent Hill F, which I have not played a Silent Hill since like the PSP, I want to say. And this one has a pretty cool like atmosphere to it, if nothing else. So I don't know if you guys know much about this one. It's not set in Silent Hill. It's actually set in 1960s Japan in like a little like village sort of thing. And you control a teenage girl who beginning of the game gets in like a fight with her family and leaves the house and is just like, I'm gonna go see my friends. And like you spend like 10 minutes like kind of like exploring and making your way through the city till you find your friends and they make you feel better. And then everything goes to shit. Like the fog rolls in, there's a run away from the fog moment where you're being chased by it, and the weird like red spory growth things are coming out, and if you end up getting caught by any of them, it saps some of your health, but also causes you to like get delayed a little bit. So then you have to make up for that time so that you don't get caught. And because you're kind of like, the village is very maze like, it's easy to get turned around and end up staring at the fog as it's coming towards you and not know where the fuck to go. So like the runaway portion actually took me like 2 or 3 tries just to like find the right paths to go on, because sometimes it wasn't obvious and you take one wrong turn and that's the end of your fucking run. I'm still early enough that like I don't have any way to like fight the monsters. It's very much, dodge away from them and just run and hope for the best. They do at least seem to be once you've evaded them and they can't see you anymore, they just kind of despawn and go away. I haven't really backtracked where, like, after I've escaped from one to see if they're just, like, lingering there for me. I assume they are. But at least it's not like they're going to, like, pursue you long term. Like, you just need to find a place to hide out of their general vicinity and they'll reset, basically. And I did... So what... The one thing I thought that was actually kind of funny is, like, when you set up the game initially, there are, like, the difficulty settings. And so it's broken into 2 different sections. It's the gameplay side and then the puzzle side. So gameplay is like combat monsters, like how much damage you take, how hard the monsters are to, like, avoid and kill and everything like that. And then the puzzles are the puzzles. It's how difficult do you want that stuff to be? I don't know who decided on what these things should be, but you've got both of them just start on hard mode. Hard is the default. There is no normal. There is a story. Combat then has one harder level called Lost in the Fog. So you've got story, hard, Lost in the Fog for your gameplay levels. And then for puzzle levels, you have easy, story, and hard. Mm-hmm. And like, I don't understand who came up with that. Like, it just seems so silly and unintuitive. Like, I had to actually like read all the tooltips to see like what each of these meant and how they impacted the game. Because I'm like, well, I don't necessarily want hard mode. But then I'm just like, oh, hard mode is actually normal mode. What the fuck?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was dumb. But overall, like, the game's actually, like, so far it's really cool. Just like atmospherically, it's very cool. I will say, like, it's a game where it is Steam Deck playable. I want to say is what it's listed at. So it's the yellow exclamation mark. Graphically, if you don't go into the graphic settings in the game and like tweak a bunch of stuff, the game kind of makes you a little motion sick, honestly. Like, it doesn't look great. The frame rate is kind of like jittery in a way where, like, I was getting like a little bit of like a headache for a few minutes playing it. And I kept kind of going into the settings and like I dropped the frame rate to just a solid 30, turned off a few things, evened some stuff out. I actually looked up like a couple posts online to see like what the recommended Steam Deck settings were. And once I kind of like got them like kind of situated the way that like everyone was recommending, it actually played really smooth. But that was one of like the little caveats when like you load the game up on there. It's like some of the text might be small, which is whatever. But then like the game required manual graphics updates to run well on the Steam Deck, which I just think is a funny thing to not just have kind of baked in correctly. But overall, like it was easy enough to set those things down and make it not feel bad and also not look bad. Like it's not like I turned everything down to low and suddenly the game looks like shit. It still looks like a very nice game. The enemies are still creepy as shit. They're like these weird like evil mannequin ragdoll creature things. And yeah, it's just, you know, Silent Hill. It's creepy as shit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing about gaming and gaming devices. Like, even in most games, low settings still looks fine. Like graphical settings. Like, I've not played something in strictly low settings in a while, but like the only thing maybe is High Guard, which is that free to play shooter that I was telling you guys about, the 3v3 raid shooter. And that game recommends you play it in low because it's very poorly optimized at the moment still. It's still very early access. And it still looked good. Like, it didn't look like shit. So like lowering the graphical settings of most games nowadays isn't going to make the game look that bad. At worst, I think you're looking at like PS3 style graphics if you're cutting them down to low. But like PS3 style graphics still not bad. Not bad.
Yeah, and like there's definitely like a point where if you lower things, the game can look rough or it can play rough. Like if you kind of if you don't tweak the things right. But like I was doing like one setting at a time, and also like I said, I Googled to see what other people recommended for the Steam Deck. And does it, on a freeze frame, does it look as good as it did initially? No. But it still looks good. But the game plays better. It's not giving me a headache. There's not like any kind of just weird motion sick vibes I'm getting from the game just not being optimal on the Steam Deck. So it's nice that frankly, it's just nice that you can do that you can go in there and tweak all that stuff. I also went in, it's outside the game technically, but I went into like the actual like game settings from like the Steam menu and like mapped a bunch of inputs to the back bumpers, because like having to click in the left analog stick every time you want to run because you're constantly running from shit just doesn't feel good. So I toggled it onto one of the back buttons. So now instead of having to click in the analog stick, I just tap. I think I had it set to the left bumper or L4. I just tap that and I start running now, and it feels so much better than clicking in the thumbstick like constantly. Because you also you walk so fucking slow. So like if you're not running, you're kind of just not moving.
Yeah.
And I looked to see if there was a like toggle run walk instead, like where I could like just turn run on as the default and just toggle to walk when I needed to move slow, and there isn't. It's either toggle the switch to run until you stop and then you walk again, or have to hold the button in to run. And neither of them were ideal, so I just added a different key to make myself be able to run. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting further into that one. Like I said, I'm not super far, just far enough to have kind of gotten a feel for like how the game plays, and kind of like what the atmosphere feels like.
Yeah.
And the setting just seems neat. Like 1960s seems like just a weird place for this to be, and it being in Japan and being in like this like small rural isolated village.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I remember seeing a few streamers playing it, and it looked all right. I remember my thoughts on like the trailers and stuff was it looked a little bit too actiony for a Silent Hill game, and not very like, I don't know, survival horror-y. So, but like I've never played a Silent Hill, so I don't really know. But
yeah,
yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing like how much action there really is in it. Because so far it feels like it's going to lean more survival horror, especially like your character's like a fucking high school girl. Like
Yeah.
she's not Chris Redfield.
Look, if anime has taught me anything, high school girls can defend themselves.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. But
But yeah, it looks
Titanfall.
solid. Looks decently spooky.
Yeah, and so far, like it does just have like an ominous just feel to it, even before anything started happening. Like it was just very like, oh, this just feels kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Now, Rich, what are you doing with Bleach? Are you rewatching the whole thing?
So I've been rewatching Bleach for a while. Like I got through the Soul Society arc, and then I took a long break, and then I jumped back on, and I've been trying to stick through it. I'm skipping all the fillers and stuff like that because fuck those things. And there's just like there's feelings I got to get out there on this. Like Bleach was my favorite anime at the time when it came out. It is within my top 5. Like I still love Bleach. I'm looking forward to the finale of Thousand Year Blood War. But it's just some of the things watching Bleach and like listening to like the dialogue and like some of this was in the manga. It really leads to like, oh, Kubo didn't fully know what he was doing. One of the things that made me laugh, and I posted this on Blue Sky, was Uryu said at one point, I'm a Quincy. It's when he first uses his special arrow that he can use as a sword or an arrow.
Right, yeah.
And the person like mocks him, is like, oh, you think a sword's gonna make you win this? And he's like, I'm a Quincy. Quincy's only use bow and arrows. I hear that line after having watched the 3 seasons of Thousand Year Blood War that's out, and I'm like, Uryu, I'm a Quincy. Quincy's don't use anything but bow and arrows. Thousand Year Blood War, hold my beer, bro.
So to be fair, though,
none of them use bows.
To be fair, like let's roll back a little bit. I always got the impression from reading Thousand Year Blood War that a lot of the Quincy stuff that comes from those Quincy aren't necessarily the same as like the Quincy that he was like taught growing up. If that makes sense.
Like he was taught from his grandfather and his father, primarily his grandfather, who like they were the last surviving Quincy's because of the extermination of the Quincy's, as well as then the resurrection or awakening of Yuhabak, however you pronounce his fucking name.
Yeah, I actually have no idea either.
When Ichigo was like 6 years old or whatever, when they were 6 years old, and he took all the Quincy's powers. I think it's like Yuhabak is how you're supposed to pronounce it. I don't really know. So like all the Quincy's that he knew were bow users because that's what they were taught, and the Quincy's that we know, the A to Z, the alphabet Quincy's that we know in Thousand Year Blood War, those they have special powers from Yubak because like they got his blood or something like that. I don't, or like parts of his spirit energy. So like yes, Quincy's only use bow and arrows, but it still makes me laugh because it's like the main Quincy, the king of Quincy's, he fucking uses a sword. Yubak uses a sword. The one dude uses straight up a sniper rifle,
which is kind of like
it's bow adjacent, but still, the one dude is a fucking Valkyrie that uses a sword and shield. It made me laugh a little bit. I had to. One of them was a luchador, for crying out loud. There was no bow and arrow there. He just fought with. He was a wrestler. It just made me laugh. So there's that. There's the fact that, and like we've talked about this, you talked about it on your rewatch or your watch through. I believe it was episode 110 that they get to Las Noches. It's around between 110 and 120 that they get to Las Noches. So for anyone who doesn't know Bleach, Drew, Las Noches is...
I watched like 10 episodes back in the day.
There you go. Exactly. You basically know what's going on.
Las Noches is the palace that the main villain of the original arc resides in. They get there at around 110 to 120. I can't remember the exact number. That, based on story, is more than halfway through the series. There's still 200 episodes left of this show. Because of the filler arcs. That is just insane. But even taking out the fillers, there's still at least 150 episodes left. Or there's still at least 100 episodes left, which is just insane. The pacing of this show, I didn't realize until I started watching, is rough. And they spend way too long recapping the previous episode. You can watch Bleach by watching the recaps. That is it. That is what I've learned. You can watch Bleach by watching the recaps. Because they tell you everything that happened just in a very truncated form. You don't get as much of the character development that you would if you were to watch it. But it's just like, early 2000 or mid 20 mid noughts anime, late noughts anime. It's crazy how much they did these fillers, and it's because they caught up and they needed to wait for more chapters to come out, and it blows my mind.
And look, so I agree, like that is one of the biggest problems with the 52-week animes is unless the anime is already done, or I'm sorry, unless the manga or source material is already done, it's going to catch up eventually.
Yeah.
Because one episode of an anime is not one chapter of the manga. So even if the manga and anime are weekly together, like the anime is just going to catch up. I will say, depending on the filler, not all filler is bad, and it is better than what One Piece does later on in the series, where they basically slow the pacing down so much that it is essentially one episode of the anime is one chapter of the manga.
Yeah.
Like nothing happens for you have to watch like 10 episodes to get any real plot going.
The bad part of the filler in Bleach is that it stops everything that's happening and goes to a completely different story.
That stuff's the problem. The stuff that's happening in the middle of the big story arcs. The in-between stuff, like the Bount arc, that was fine because it happened between two.
Yeah, it happened between two stories, and then when the end of the Arrancar arc, before the Fullbring arc, there is a filler there that takes place in that time that can take place in that time. Like that one's also fine, but this a lot of so where let me find it. Episode 168 to 189 is a filler.
Is that the rogue sword one, or
no, I think that was the new captains.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember though. I don't fully remember. I think isn't the rogue sword the one that's after. No, I don't think it's the one that's after
the Zanpakuto Rebellion arc or something like that. I'm pretty sure that is one of the ones happening during that final. Yeah. After all the captains and vice captains are in the town fighting the Arancars, while Ichigo I think is still inside Hueco Mundo.
So Ichigo fights Grimjow, and then we go into a filler.
Yep, sounds about right.
And then it comes and then it comes back, and then Ichigo fights Ukiura and is halfway in that fight when we go into the next filler. And in that time frame that separates those two fillers, and that's episode 168 to 189, and then is the first filler, and then the next one is 228 to 266. So from 190 to 227, there are 4 full filler episodes within that as well. So that's 23 33 episodes between sets of fillers. 33 episodes. Right? Or 20. Did I say 23 or 33? 33 episodes. All of this is taking place in the span of maybe an hour in show time. Which is also mind-blowing. And then
Everyone moves at super speed.
The last thing that just really blows my mind, and I never realized until now, Ichigo is such a crybaby, and Ichigo sucks. He is weak as fuck. He is weak. And I come to this because Ichigo faces Grimmjow 3 times. The first time he fights him, he doesn't have control of his abilities, of his hollow side, and his hollow side starts to take over, and that's why he loses. The second time he fights Grimmjow is missing an arm, and he has control of his hollow abilities, and still can't fucking win. And in that was a month, at least a month, between when he learned to control his hollow abilities and that fight, and he could still only control it for 10 seconds. And then there's 2 days that pass between that point and when he goes into Hueco Mundo, and he still can only control it for 10 seconds because he does not take training seriously. And this dude gets so much fucking plot armor.
So to be fair, though, there are plenty of off the screen training that he does that he seemingly does take serious. He does the what's it called? What's the fucking thing they do?
For
the second level on their sword.
The Bankai training?
Yeah, Bankai. He takes that seriously and gets Bankai faster than anyone. He does the training with his dad in the tunnel.
Yeah, but those two, those two, yes, those are bookending the middle of the story, where he gets mad at them because the way they're training him, he'd think is working, and it should be working, but he's not taking it seriously because he starts with 10-second control and ends after a month with still 10-second control. He just doesn't have any spiritual control, is what it is, and never learned it, which is fine. But he gets a lot of plot armor because somehow magically when he fights Grimmjow in Hueco Mundo, he can control his thing, his mask for, I don't know, probably about 5 minutes. When literally the fight before that against an Arrancar that he should have had no problem with in his Bankai form, which they even explain in the anime, he would have had no problem with. It just would have taken him a little bit longer. He says, I can only do this for an instant, and uses his mask to use a full powered attack against him. And then heals him. He's getting too Goku about this. He's getting way too Goku about this.
But I mean that's also that's shonen. That's every shonen. The protagonist protagonists always lose, and then they come back and something silly happens and they get some sort of buff or power up or the power of friendship, and they overcome whatever hurdle the villain threw at them and take out the villain with very little trouble once they get their superpowers.
Yeah. It's just it's insane the way this show goes and the way the story goes in general. But yeah, it's still one of my favorite animes, but it is definitely a product of its time in sense of for the anime itself, how it's released, and since it was a weekly release and it was a constant 52-week release, they never took breaks. They're always doing the recap from the week before, and like I said, you could pretty much learn the entire story from watching the recaps.
Oh yeah.
This is not a binge-worthy show at this point. This is a watch it once or twice a day, and that's it. Like it's going to be it's hard
I mean,
at times to watch it
if
consistently.
if you're binging it, you absolutely have to skip the recaps.
Oh, 100, but the problem is, and this is a me issue and not an anime issue. When it comes to my phone being connected to my Wi-Fi and using Hulu, it just does not work. It does not want to work.
Oh, right, because you don't have like your TV doesn't stream it. You actually do it through like the Chromecast still, right?
Yeah, and so like it's just I have so many issues with that. Like I can't skip the recaps.
Are Chromecasts even still supported by Google?
Yeah, they still sell and do Chromecast
Do they
stuff.
still sell them?
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, like yours may like it is, but it might also just be old and need to be replaced. It might not
I
be a
got
phone thing. It might be
mine.
like a Chromecast thing.
No, it's a phone thing. It's a phone thing, 100%. Because it's a phone connected to. It's a Wi-Fi issue. I think. I think I need route because it's I can't if I were to try to connect to Hulu on Wi-Fi, it gives me problems.
Man, just
And
get
it's
yourself
not
a
all the
Roku
time.
with a remote. Yeah, just get a
Or
Roku
I
with a
could-
remote. You'll be fine.
I mean, I need to call Verizon and just get an update on that. But yeah, that's really it. Just he gets plot armored a lot.
He does.
And it's a
He
little
has some of the cooler
frustrating.
moments.
Yeah.
Like you have to give him at least that credit. Like his fights aren't always all that interesting, but some of like the cool moments are legitimately cool. Like when he during the Soul Society arc when he catches the fucking Phoenix thing on his sword
Yeah.
and then goes down and takes out the 3 vice captains without his sword. Like that's just
Yeah.
a cool moment.
Yeah, and he's very powerful then. Where does all that power go? Like,
But also, is he all that powerful, or did the vice captains just not try? Because you've watched enough of Blood War. I'm pretty sure it's happened already. The old vice captain that's like a butler. Apparently, that guy's like as strong as a bunch of the captains. Like he is one of the most powerful Soul Reapers. Ichigo should not have beaten him in one punch.
He's one of a few vice captains that actually has a Bankai. Like, and his sword is one of the more stronger swords of the Gautier 13. Yeah, no, he shouldn't have had that easy. And again, he gets plot armored.
Well, and I mean, a little bit of that you can definitely chalk surprise. Like none of them knew who he was. None of them expected some random guy like that strong. Sense like he just punched dude. The one vice captain. His first release is his sword turns into just spiked ball. And he does just punch that and shatter it. So like there is that part for him. Or like during the Fullbring arc, which I thought was just a garbage arc. There's that one scene at the end when he finally gets his powers back, where he does like I remember this specifically. He does his attack, and it's one of the like shoots a beam out of his sword like fucking Link with all hearts, and the bad guy whose name I don't remember laughs at him and goes, "Is that your whatever his special move's called?"
He's like your Getsuga Tensho's so weak, and Genjo's like your Getsuga Tensho's so weak, and he's like,
there you go. That
wasn't Getsuga Tensho. That was me waving my sword.
And then he does it, and it literally parts the fucking heavens and like stops the rain, and the guy is just left standing there with his jaw on the ground.
Yeah, but that is Ichigo post final Getsuga Tensho training, but also 17 months after he lost his powers. So like he's stronger, but he's also hasn't used his abilities in 17 months, so he's not that strong. Which that's also another wild thing.
He also got repowered at that point with all captains and vice captains. Yeah. It wasn't just Rukia's power that he had siphoned off. It was all of the most powerful people from the Soul Reapers.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. But it's I am during the captains have come to Las Noches, and most of the captain fights are done at the moment. It's Kenpachi versus Notiora now. So I'm almost at the Ukiura fight. Almost. And
Okay.
then we're gonna have to do fake Karakura Town, and then we'll and Ichigo's Mugen training, and then it'll be. So I'm almost done. Like I am almost done at like episode 160-ish or whatever I said, right? Or no, at episode uh I lost it. 228 is the next filler, so I'm guessing 227 is the end of the Ukiura fight. So 227, I am almost done, but again, there's still over 130 episodes left. Because there's another 311 to 341. There's another 30 episode
Oh,
fucking fill, but that's the midpoint filler between the end of the Arrancar arc and the beginning of the Fullbring arc. There's a couple of other fillers between that: 287, 298, 299, 303 to 305, 311 to 341, and the 355. But yeah, I'm almost done. And I'm excited to get into 1000 Year Blood War, where the pacing doesn't really get much better, but at least there's no fucking fillers.
yeah, that's true. Like, and
And the
I want to get back
animation is
to that.
good.
I want to get back to 1000 Year Blood War. I'm just
Just
they
just
keep waiting, so I'm just like, well, I'm not going to do it until like it's
the
just done.
final season is coming out this year. I don't know if we have a release date.
I think summer, but not like in a like 100% one. But like it's been what, like 5 years, and they release like 6 episodes at a time or something like that.
No, I mean it's been about 10 to 15 episodes per season. July of this year, according to Gemini.
So 2022 is when it started, and it'll have been 40 episodes. So I think they added episodes because it wasn't originally going to be 40. I think it was going to be less than that.
I thought it was like 10. I thought it was always supposed to be like 10 per season.
I thought it was less than that, or maybe it wasn't supposed to be 4.
No. Like agreed, it's not a lot, but it's in 10 a year. That's like a good for a shonen anime like this. That's decent pacing. Like 10 a year for modern anime, like Chainsaw Man. Like their pacing was so weird with the next arc that instead of doing an arc in an anime, they just did a fucking movie.
But it also hasn't been 10 a year. So Core 1 came out October 22 till December 22. Core 2 was July 23, so 6 months later. Core 3 was a year after that, 2024. October.
Yeah, but it's still 22, 23, 24, 25.
26. There was nothing last year.
Oh, there wasn't. Oh, that's because that was 24 into 25, wasn't it?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, well, I guess yes, it
No.
ended at the end of 24, but we had the full
last
calendar
one was
year.
28, 24. Yeah, December 28th, 2024. So it didn't.
But like, it's one of those. It was two
Yeah.
two cores 6 months apart, and then a full year between them, and then it'll be over a year and a half before the last core comes out.
Yeah, but again, and that's the problem with modern anime, like these big anime, like not My Hero, Attack on Titan did the same thing. Attack on Titan had 4 seasons for the final season, and it was a year between each, and it was like 5 episodes each season. But like at least with this, they didn't extend it that much. They were like 10 episodes a year ish. And they were all good, and it's a good story. They added stuff to it, and it wasn't just 4 episodes. Like 10 episodes each core ish works, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's one of those, like, I'd rather like the release schedule be more consistent than cool. Here's 10 episodes, and then 18 months later, we'll give you another 10 episodes. I'm like, I don't even fucking remember what this was last time.
I agree. It would be nice if it was every year and not like a year and a half, and then it's been a year and a half and then another year and a half. Like in an ideal world, it would have been 10 and 22, 10 and 23, 24, 25. But whatever reasons we didn't get that, but it's still good. And like, look, I will say, like, anybody who has not watched Thousand Year Blood War, wait until it's going to be another 10 to 15 episodes, and if we're getting it in July, let's say July 1st. So wait until September, October, and then watch them all. Watch every episode from Core 1 to Core 4. Watch them all. It'll be a good binge, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like, it was a cool, whatever you want to call it, story. Like in the manga, it was rushed. Like, the first, let's say, 2/3 were like drawn out, but like paced fairly well. Like you kind of got time with everything, and then the last third was just like a fucking sprint to the finish line. And that last third is what kind of like sucked. Is like we had all this build up, and then everything's just kind of like brushed aside to wrap it up quickly. And I think it was because like he was told to wrap it up and like couldn't finish it the way he wanted to, or wanted to wrap it up and not finish. Like, I don't know like exactly what was back there, but yeah, that the end was a letdown. But I'm hoping they kind of like fix that up a little bit with this.
Yeah, we'll see.
I'm just trying to see where I left off in that. So let's see. So we watched the entire first season of it. And then what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The first 6 episodes of the second season. So, you know, we're a little ways into it, but not far. I think maybe Kenpachi just had
He released his Shikai for the first time. Yeah.
No, I think. Oh yeah, actually, maybe that. Yeah, that might have been it. Like, I think he had his fight where his I forget the little girl's name. She finally like vanished.
Yeah. He had his fight. He had his fight against the enemy who he should not have won, because the enemy's ability is, I think I can win, so I'm going to win. I think things into existence, and that's how it works. And Kenpachi's like, well, I think harder, and I think you're going to lose. And just somehow, or no, Kenpachi's just like, I'm better than reality, and you can bend reality, so I'm just going to kill you and cut a meteor in half.
I think that's the thing. Like, of all the characters in that show, the only one that could have beaten that guy would be Kenpachi.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only one where you go like, okay, yeah, you know what? You didn't jump the shark on this writing. Like, this tracks for that character.
Yeah, true.
But I think that's probably a show.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So if you'd like to find more of our content, you can head over to www.one-quest.com. You can also help us out by supporting us at patreon.com/onequest. If you can't support us there with your dollars, though, you can go to your favorite podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify. Rate us, review us, subscribe to us. Those things all help. You can also find us on social media, facebook.com/onequestonline or at @1_quest on Instagram and Twitter. And our Blue Sky is at one-quest.com. You can also send us emails to social@one-quest.com. And our YouTube channel is youtube.com/onequestvideo. And now, Rich, what does your streaming look like?
Twitch.tv/b_walnuts. We're on video game streaming Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, and the occasional bonus stream here and there. We're more than halfway through Tomb Raider, so we should be beating that soon. We play Sea of Thieves every week, and then Resident Evil, I'll be playing that on Friday next week when that comes out, so come hang out Friday, Saturday, Sunday next week for some Resident Evil, and then whatever else we can get into.
Nice. And with that, we will be back next week with something else to talk about. Thanks for listening. Bye.
See yous.